Tom Dienhart joins us, and for Purdue football talk, and then some. A busy time with the hiring of Barry Odom, of course. The opportunity to speak with him in segment one. I heard what the coach had to say as he is preparing for. He's already in the thick of a very busy time. But Tom, it has been roster moves. It's been coaching hires. As we record here, what general manager was hired this morning. It's just it's a moving piece. But as a broad stroke, how do you think things are going, or what are your impressions so far?
Yeah, Alan, hang on, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to change, right?
And I think you're gonna need a game program next year to figure out who all these guys are. We talked to Coach Odom, you and I did this week, and you referenced it yesterday when we had lunch. He mentioned his first year at UNO, he had 50 new guys or 55.
Yeah,
His second year,
yeah.
50. I don't know if the number is going to get that high here, Alan. I certainly hope not, but he's the coach. He has to make those decisions. But yeah, where do I start, Alan Karpick? We've started to see dribs and drabs of the coaching staff news come out. The university's been releasing stuff. We've sort of known who's coming here. They made it official here. I believe it's 5 guys at this point. I think today, Alan, we should maybe get the news on everybody else. I think the UNLV guys coming may be announced. The D-backs coach as well. Maybe some off-field support personnel. So yeah, that's just your staff for Barry Odom that's still to come here. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to get off. We could probably talk for 2 hours, but we never know if any of these things are going to work out right. But his staff offers some optimism, I think. I really love Darren Hinshaw coming as quarterback's coach. I think the guys he's bringing from UNLV are very good too. So it looks like he's got a pretty good start on his staff. I reported this morning that they have a general manager in place, Alan. It's a guy we knew was coming, Brandon Lee from Mississippi State. His official title is going to be student athlete brand strategy and innovator.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's going to basically help with the NIL and revenue sharing. He's from Indianapolis, Alan. He went to Lawrence Central, played football at Missouri, was a linebacker there. Barry Odom was there as the coach and as an assistant coach then. So you get the connections there. So they have that guy in place. So again, we could talk personnel for hours here, but that's a key hire, obviously, Brandon Lee. He's your new Noah Joseph. But again, his skills are going to be a little bit different than just being like a true football GM who's evaluating tape. He's going to be more of, I think, of a money strategy type NIL guy. And again, the staff, like I said, keep your eyes peeled to social media. Keep your eyes peeled to the message board. Keep your eyes peeled to our site, because there's going to be plenty of news flying here, not just today, but for the next probably month.
Yeah. And, it is a broad stroke, though, with this staff. He seems to have, and would make perfect sense, obviously, for Barry Odom. He hit on that when we talked to him earlier. But the notion of these are guys that had been around him. Of course, Lee was a guy that was a linebacker, like you mentioned, for him at Missouri. Just the kind of guys he's got have been kind of in his network. He hasn't really gone out of his network deeply in terms of so far with the assistants that are coming in. No real out and left field hires at this point.
Yeah, you like to hire who you know, don't you, Alan?
Yeah.
I think it gives you a level of comfort. You've had to hire a lot of people over the years, so you could speak to you would like to bring in people that you work with that you know. And Barry Odom has certainly been doing that so far. You're right. Just to recap, Darren Hinshaw, he was at Central Florida, is going to be your quarterback's coach. 2 guys from Arkansas, defensive ends coach Jake Trump, defensive line coach Kelvin Green. Of course, Barry worked at Arkansas with those guys, so there's your connection. And then the offensive coordinator Josh Henson, coming from USC. He's an Oklahoma guy like Barry. And then he's retained Lamar Kennard.
Yeah, obviously. That was interesting. I thought that was interesting. Did that surprise you at all?
I don't think it. I guess I don't think it totally surprised me, Alan. To be honest with you, in some ways it did. Sometimes if you're a coach, you're coming in, you don't want anybody from the old staff.
Yeah,
now, I could understand not wanting to retain anybody, but I think it's a nice nod to Lamar for the work he's done here with the running backs. The fact that he's just not a running backs coach. He's a Purdue Boilermaker, played football, is an alum, knows the school too, and he's a good guy. I think that combination of things really probably had to sway Barry on quite a bit. And we saw Barry also retain Jason Simmons from the old
Yeah.
staff. Jason was an analyst, of course, really rose quickly.
Yes, he did.
Was calling plays at Wisconsin. And of course, we met Jason every week in the press conference. He's a great guy you want on your staff. He's the director of high school relations. He's the kind of guy. He's like you, Alan. He knows everybody. He knows everybody. He's waving to people. He knows all the high school football coaches in the state. So, man, I tell you what, you can't find one person to say a bad thing about Jason Simmons. So, and then I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen with Justin Sims. I believe he's being retained, Alan. Of course, he's been around here forever. An old bullmaker. Again, I'm assuming that he's going to have some role. I'm just not sure yet, Alan. But again, we'll hopefully find something out here, maybe today.
Yeah, it's interesting and this is not casting aspersions with the previous staff, but the good guy quotient of these guys. Not that I know they're going to have to make tough decisions. They're going to be demanding all those kind of things. But from Barry Odom to Jason Simmons, these are guys that just seem like regular dudes that got a big job ahead of him. Obviously, it seems as we sit in the second to last weekend in December that it seems overwhelming. But I got the impression that Barry Odom, even in our interview on the front end here, he's going to go and do his deal. I got to do this step by step. And yes, things are changing on a daily basis, but I'm here to do it, and we're not gonna panic about where we are. And that fans may do that, but it doesn't seem like those guys they seem to be well suited to deal with what's in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tall task what they've got here. Obviously, I mean, it's sort of that question: how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? I think you say that, or somebody says that. So,
yeah, I don't. That's not on my wheelhouse, but that's a good one.
coming up in a 1-11 season. And if you're watching this video, I don't need to explain to you what last season looked like and the hill that needs to be climbed. I will say this, though. That was not a one-win team last year. When you look at the guys that have left and the schools are going to, Alan, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
North Carolina, Clemson, Oregon, Texas. It's been a pretty impressive list where some of these Boilermakers are going to land. It sounds like Max Clare is probably going to go to Ohio State or Louisville from what I hear. So, Again, I think you have to be undaunted, though. Barry Odom seems like the kind of guy who's undaunted. He's undaunted, and I think he knows what he's stepping into, Alan. But he also, I think, knows the opportunity here as well at a Big Ten school at Purdue. What can be done with the resources here? So, yeah, I think more than anything, Alan, though, having Odom here and now what's going on now with the staff, with the roster turnover. Yeah, it's been tough seeing guys leave, but I think we're going to see some good guys come in. We saw one last night, the quarterback, Malachi Singleton from Arkansas. I think it gives fans hope. And I think hope had vanished by Thanksgiving last year in the 66-0 rubble of that game in Bloomington. Now they've got hope. And you know what happens, Alan, in the next 6 months? People are going to start getting more pumped and more excited. By the time we get to August, fans will have Purdue playing in the college football playoff by the time the season kicks off. So we all need hope in life, and I think that this staff change is certainly giving fans that.
Yeah, when you look at and not to go into any detail, but even some of the guys that have left, some pretty swanky, it appears, some swanky NIL deals, really interesting, and it is a fascinating time. We're heading to that June 30th. Deadline with the House settlement, and I go April 8th will be a big day in terms of how all this is going to shake out. But there is I don't know, backing up the Brinks truck, but there certainly is, and you talked about maybe an unloading of NIL funds where, and where Purdue sits in that is a challenge. I don't think there's any question, but you got guys going to different places and really, it's hard to blame them because the money seems to be significantly better as you look at that. That's what you're seeing, I assume, as you look at this from the guys that are heading out, the Max Clares, the Ryan Browns, those types of folks that are going to be the Will Helts, and pretty impressive places where they're going too. I mean, it's all of that, like you said, speaks well for maybe speaks poorly that Purdue didn't do better with that level of talent, but speaks well of those guys.
Yeah, you're right. It does, and you're right. I think some of the money that these guys are getting is eyebrow raising. I think if your son Reed Carpick was getting these offers,
Yeah,
you'd probably tell him, Reed, I love Purdue, but you know what?
yeah,
I think I like what I'm hearing from Clemson or from Texas or from Ohio State or from whoever, even Louisville. He got one
yeah,
of the Boilermakers as well, and yeah, the July 1st is when revenue sharing starts, but until then, schools just have their collectives to really fund these things at this point, and boy, and at this point, I think from what I heard, I put this on Boiling Over yesterday. This comes from a credible source. He said all the collectives, the not-for-profit collectives, are emptying their war chests between
yeah,
now and June 30th.
yeah.
Um, I guess maybe they can still write off the I don't know. But anyway, I think that's what we're seeing right now across the country is the emptying of these collective war chests. Then, Alan, I've asked people who actually work on these collectives, what's the future? I asked Barry Odom what the future is, the collectives. He says there's always going to be a place for them. I think the best thing I can say, it seems kind of murky. They're going to have some role. Nobody really knows what that role is going to be until everything gets untangled with this House settlement, I think. So I do think there'll be a place for collectors moving forward in addition to revenue sharing. How they'll look, how they'll operate, who will run them. I think a lot of those questions are still up in the air until, again, the House settlement gets untangled and we get a real good grasp on what revenue sharing looks like.
Yeah, oversight is going to be the interesting thing too, because
Yeah.
there's one would think, again, this is the key words we keep using in this deal, is one would think that there's going to have to be some guardrails. We keep talking about contracts. Whether that's going to happen, we don't know, but one would think that there's going to have to be some quote unquote legislative body, however whether that's Deloitte, whether that's the NCAA, however that works out to make this a competitive field.
Yeah.
But it all sounds good on paper. It's not that way right now. I mean, it is going to be crazy from now until June 30th as these teams fortify their rosters.
God, yeah, there has to be some type of collective bargaining at some point.
Yeah.
Again, this is so far over my pay grade.
Yeah. It's hard to, yeah.
Unions and collective bargaining, labor law. But, look what's going on now with these junior college players, Alan.
Yeah, amazing. Bring everybody up to speed with that.
Again, if you go to a junior college, your 2 years of that junior college will not count against your eligibility clock at the next level. So you can play 2 years of junior college, transfer to Purdue, play 4 more years. Typically you only had 2 years if you're a junior college transfer.
Yeah.
So again, I guess you can't restrict people's ability to earn. I know that's a big issue, and that the courts have really smacked down that the NCAA tried to uphold for years. So again, it just seems a little silly. I was joking at one point. They should just it's college professional football. We know that.
Yeah.
Some guys, if you're really not a great NFL prospect, you say, look, man, I'm going to be a professional college football player.
Yeah.
I'm going to play for 10, 15 years and make it my. Why not?
Yeah.
If you can make $500,000 a year for 10 years playing college football, well, I mean, who would stop somebody, Alan? I don't know. I mean, the academic calendar, as far as being a student, doesn't seem to matter. You can just keep getting master's degree, can't you? Get your bachelor's, get another master's, get another master's, get another master's. Just keep playing college football. Why not? What court's going to shoot that down?
Yeah, who knows? And it is going to be interesting in its own bizarre way of how to do it. All right, the Carolina blue on your shirt reminds me of Bill Belichick. And I thought I heard I listened to a podcast on Thursday night just talking about what the new football coach looks like and why Bill Belichick, of course, now, of New England Patriots fame and 6 Super Bowl championships, now the head coach at North Carolina, if you're not up to speed with that, but that you don't need to be a recruiter. You need to be a negotiator. and they talked about why I think it was Joel Klatt. It was interesting. I don't know if I buy all of it. He just needs to be a good negotiator. He needs to go in and be able to evaluate talent, be able to realize how much he's going to pay for it, and go get him. Now we think one guy from Purdue, Ryan Brown's headed to North Carolina. That would be one example, but that's just a fact. It turns it all on its head. The whole days of high school recruiting and development may be a thing of the past, because even the junior college thing you talk about, why not just jump into a junior college for a couple of years? Let's see if you're any good or not. If we're going to pay you some money, you better be pretty good.
Wouldn't you do that if you're a football?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Why take a chance signing some skinny 18-year-old kid from West Lafayette High School? I'm not sure how good he is. I got to let him lift weights for a couple of years. I can go pluck this kid from the junior college who's already pumped up, or pluck this guy from Western Michigan or Ball State. He's already, again, developed. I've got film on him at the college level. I mean, it's just smart business, Alan.
Yeah.
And it's smart. Why develop guys and have somebody take them from you?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening at Purdue. That's my worry if you're Purdue, Alan. Once they do get a gem and they've developed them, can they keep them?
Yeah.
They've proven they can't. Nick Scorton, gone.
Yeah.
Will Help, gone. Dylan Thieneman, gone. Max Clare, probably gone. I mean, as a fan, you want to get excited about things in the future, and you see some guy playing, we go, oh, well, you know what? He's probably going to leave here after this year anyway, because we can't keep him. Again, I just wonder if Purdue's going to really be able to step up its game and keep guys when they get good, and not let them get plucked by the real true blue bloods of college football. That's I don't know. That's something I've been thinking.
And whether the House settlement will put some level of guardrails on this so that they can compete. Will they sign contracts where they come in and are forced to stay for 3 years? That seems to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have a buyout if they leave. All those kind of things. I'll tell you who's going to make
structure. It needs structure.
Yeah. I'll tell you who's going to make money on all this. As they always say in the old song, lawyers clean up all details. Lawyers and agents are going to do well in this deal, because there's going to be a lot of wrangling as this goes. Well, we are going to bring this show to a close. Want to thank Tom and wish everybody happy holidays. A reminder too, if you're looking for that last minute gift, goldenblack.com, you can do that. We have gift subscriptions available. We're running that along the bottom of the screen now. Gift subscriptions still available. The operators are standing by because they're bots out there. We'll take your order, and we hope that you'll consider doing that. So have a great holiday, everybody. And Tom, thanks again for everything. All right. Want to thank the good folks at WLFI as well, Chris Collar, and all that he's had done to help put this together, Purdue football family. As Chris and Don Collar have been around for a long time. We appreciate them, Madison Kopp and others at WLFI, for putting that. We will not have a show next week. We will have one in the week of January 3rd, and we'll look forward to doing that. Who knows what we'll be talking about then? That's what's going to be interesting. It is a moving target. So have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll see you next time on Golden Black Live.